We're live in three, two. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Good Morning Show with Candy Bryan. I am so glad that you're waking up with us this morning. Hopefully, you made that alarm last night, and now the alarm is waking you up to join us. Me and my guest, Baron Warren. Good morning, Baron.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you this morning?
So we're going to get started. We're going to let you folks come and join us here. Baron, I don't know if you have the ability to start a watch party, but you are more than welcome to starting a watch party. I don't know if you're probably on your cell phone this morning, aren't you?
I am. But I got I tried to get prepared and I have my laptop here, so I'm going to share a few things here.
Oh, look at you, prepared.
Yeah.
Coming prepared. I love that. All right, I'm going to do the same thing. And we want to say good morning to a few people. So take your time, Baron. This is family time. It's no rush.
Okay. I'm good to go.
Start my watch party.
Yeah.
A few people. So take your time. There I go. This is family. So good morning, Facebook family. I hope that you guys are doing great. The Good Morning Show is your place of faith in the morning. We seek to start the day out with encouragement and hope. And Baron, I had a message yesterday from someone who watched the show, and she's like, the show is becoming an essential part of my morning. You don't understand. This is something that I need. And it's like just at the moment where you feel like, and I know you know, because you're pursuing your purpose and you're putting something out there that you're like, well, I hope someone reads it.
Sure. Absolutely.
But you know what that feeling is like, is anyone going to read it? Is anyone going to come listen? Is this impacting anyone? And
right.
So that really blessed me. And all the things that you're doing, it's really blessing all of us. So
thank you.
I am here to welcome my guest, Baron Warren. I want you all to meet him. So we're going to talk about the book here in just a second. I want to say good morning to you. If you are watching and you are trying to comment and you don't see your comments, you just have to quickly go to StreamYard.com. It's spelled just how it sounds, StreamYard.com/Facebook. You have to click a little opt-in button, and StreamYard will let you post your comments on the live broadcast. Otherwise, we can go back and look at them later on Facebook. We won't see you. So I want to say good morning to some folks who are joining us that are on Facebook. I see you here, but just go to StreamYard.com/Facebook. So Baron, would you introduce yourself to everyone watching who hasn't met you yet?
Absolutely. It would be my pleasure. My name is Baron Warren. I'm a national speaker, coach, and author, and I help males grow to be strong men of integrity. I have traveled all over the country and abroad, giving a presentation called 1 Hour to Manhood, and I have just been blessed to have the opportunity to speak to so many males in need of transitional growth. So I'm just giving my life to the men out there, especially in a pivotal time like we're living in now. So it's been my pleasure to serve.
Yeah, it's you said especially like the times that we're living in. It is a very unusual times in so many ways, and then some of it is very familiar, unfortunately.
Absolutely.
In so many ways. Well, I'm going to have you help me say good morning to a few folks. Hey, Shelly, thanks for tuning in. I don't know if Shelly has been on our show quite a few times. She's a licensed therapist here in Florida. Brilliant therapist. And she also does work in the juvenile justice system.
Okay.
Young men with their mental health. So, Baron, I'm going to ask you to kick us off with an excerpt from your book. I know I sent that message to you yesterday. We would love to hear. For those of you who were watching on the last show and you purchased the 5 Steps to Manhood, thank you for going out and supporting. But this morning, we're going to have a little bit of a reading from that book to kick us off. Would you do us the honors?
Absolutely. Thank you again for all the viewers watching. The 5 Steps to Manhood, my favorite book, has been doing very well, and I'm just so thankful that it's been touching so many lives. So I won't read long, but I tell you, I read one of my favorite parts of the books, and it's pretty much at the beginning when I'm defining the difference between being a male versus being a man. And I wrote it simply put this way. So for every male reading the pages of this book, the message is very simple. In order to graduate from malehood to manhood, you have to choose to be a man. And let's be clear about something. You don't have to join the military to do that. All you have to do is identify and take full accountability on where your life is going. Identify opportunities and resources, decide to put away childish things, and make a conscious decision to live a life of integrity. That's all it takes to be a man.
Woo! So I made some posts yesterday. I was like, invite the gentleman in your life to watch with you, because a lot of times I have ladies that watch me in the morning, and we have Elizabeth is already commenting this morning. Hey, Elizabeth, good morning.
Good morning, Elizabeth.
She says, I'm buying it today. Actually, I feel like everyone who's watching is so gifted and full of purpose in their own right. Elizabeth has a nonprofit, and she really has a ministry that focuses on foster children.
Oh, okay. Let's connect, Miss Elizabeth. That'd be awesome.
That would be awesome, Elizabeth, because I think the young men, the boys, and the teens that are coming through her ministry and her program would truly benefit from the book. So Shelly says, is there a link to purchase? Shelly, I put the link in my post, and it's to BaronWarren.com, but it's also on Amazon. Just search The 5 Steps to Manhood. Am I on point?
Oh, you selling it. I appreciate it. I'm enjoying the ride. This is nice.
I know everything about it now. Okay. So, and yes, so you can certainly connect. And Baron, what you can do is just go right back to the comments after the broadcast and correspond with Elizabeth. That would be amazing, because Elizabeth has an event coming up in July. She'll be back on the show, so we can talk about her Christmas in July. And she does a foster care outreach, giving like backpacks and all kind of supplies to children.
Yeah. If I can say something really quickly, Ms. Bryan, right before everything took place with the pandemic, normally I speak inside schools and prisons, but my last event, my last workshop, I got called for the Michigan Mental Health Department here in my location here in Michigan. And they called me to speak to about 10 foster kids, young men. And that was my first time doing it. And I just had a wonderful experience. So the foster care community has been heavy on my heart ever since that day. And that was back in March, right before the pandemic took place. So the foster care community is fresh on my mind, and I would be honored to serve that population.
That is awesome. Perfect timing, Elizabeth. She was the first one to say, I'm joining. I'm going to be on the broadcast tomorrow, Candy. And I was like, yeah, that's good. So you talk about integrity a lot, and I want to spend the next 10, 15 minutes we have with you talking about integrity and some of like, if you could tell us some of that first step, take us through maybe any step that you'd like to share this morning. But what is integrity really for those of us who think we know, but we don't?
Absolutely. So it's kind of, that word is such a powerful word for me, Ms. Bryan. I think about it every day. I think about it if I'm living my life as a man of integrity, and I'm always trying to inspire others to identify that word and really live a life of integrity. So the short answer for that word is doing the right thing when no one is watching. Okay, doing the right thing when no one is watching. So when I think about integrity, it's very easy to do the right thing when your parents are looking. This is for the young men out there. It's easy to, be faithful to your spouse when your spouse is standing right there. It's easy to not use profanity when you stand in front of the pastor. I'm speaking very passionate for all the males making that transition right now. But I want to ask all the males out there, who are you when no one is watching? Who are you when the pastor is not looking? For the married men out there, who are you when your spouse is not standing in front of you? Living a life of integrity is doing the right thing when no one is watching, doing the right thing and policing yourself every single day. So that being the case, Ms. Bryan, I use myself as an example. I'm not a perfect man, but every morning, including this morning, every morning I want to look in the mirror and say, hey, I want to be a man of integrity. I want to do the right thing in front of my children, not around my children. I want to do the right thing in front of my mother. And when my mother is away, I want to always do the right thing, even when no one is watching.
I love that, because that's what matters, right? When no one is watching, we know that We have one that is always watching our actions, our every move.
Yeah.
And we want to bring honor for sure to God. And, you know, apparently a lot of people have taken note of the book, The 5 Steps to Manhood. Good morning. If you are just joining us, thank you for tuning into the Good Morning Show. My guest is Baron Warren, the author of The 5 Steps to Manhood. And we are very proud of you, Baron, for all of the legwork, the grind, the getting the books out there.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Celebrity endorsements. So celebrities have said, you know what? You guys got to go get this book. Tell us how some of these endorsements came about. So this latest one, and I've always following you. This is from the Breakfast Club. Charlamagne.
Yes, Charlamagne. Yep.
There's no profanity here, right?
Right.
Okay. All right, because I'm gonna play it when you're done.
Absolutely. This was it really warmed my heart. You know, I've been reaching out to a lot of people, and some of the who's who that's reached out, and I've always followed Charlamagne, and he's always supporting young Black men reading, and that's why I reached out to him. So I was confident I was going to get a response, and when you know it, he gave me such a warm response, and I'm very grateful.
Oh, good. So let's see if we can get to, because when I saw Charlamagne's face, I was like,
Yo, Baron Warren, what's up, King? I salute you. The reason I salute you is because you are always using your words to uplift others. And, you know, you dedicated your life to a great cause, and that's just helping men grow to be great men of integrity, and that's a beautiful thing. You know, you got a book out called The 5 Steps to Manhood, and, you know, reading is very important. Reading is transformational. You know, a good book can change your life. And, you know, I love people that are using their platforms to teach, man. So I got to encourage everybody to go to BaronWarren.com and grab that 5 Steps to Manhood. All right, King? Peace.
Ooh, you did it without a curse word. Not a curse word. Good. No. Awesome. I think we have one more here. I don't know if these videos are in order.
Yo, what's going on? Shout out to my man, Baron Warren. Congratulations on trying to focus on helping men grow to be men of integrity. Congratulations on the book, 5 Steps to Manhood, which is now available at BaronWarren.com. So, you know, check it out, man. Grow in godliness, grow in integrity. All right? Much love to you.
And that was,
yo, what's going on? Shout out to my man, Baron Warren.
Of course, gospel singer. Give me his name again. I know that
Lecrae.
Lecrae.
Mr. Lecrae, yeah. I'm a huge fan. Huge fan.
Hitters. What have been some of your favorite endorsement videos? Because we have a few here. We'll drive the ladies crazy for a moment here at the end. Yeah. Favorite one?
One of my favorites, and I'm not for sure if it's on your sheet there or on the Facebook post there, but believe it or not, one of my favorites was Stacey Dash. And I tell you why, and it's because, one, she was my first celebrity endorsement, but she really was just very passionate about how important it is for males to grow to be great men of integrity. And I just felt that she really, really just, just really understand the message that I was trying to convey. So that really warmed my heart. But far as when I thought I was big time, Miss Bryant, when I got Mr. Tay Diggs, I said, I done made it big time. Mom, I done made it.
Awesome. Well, you guys can certainly go to Baron's Facebook page.
Yo, Tay Diggs here, reaching out to big up Baron Warren for doing his part to have a positive influence on young Black men. Continue writing. I guess with the book, The 5 Steps to Manhood. I probably could have used that when I was young. I probably can use it right now. But big ups to that. Keep doing your thing. And the world appreciates and continues to need people like you. So do your thing. And thank you for your fight. All right, now. Peace.
Now, Miss Bryant, that's a man of integrity when he said he think he could use it right now. Now, see, that's a man of integrity talking.
Oh, congratulations again on that. And you've had travels. So tell us, since the first time, so for those of you who don't know, who are just tuning in, Baron has been on the show, and we had some folks in our audience that purchased the book. One young lady, Shanae, shout out to Shanae. I'm not on the screen to see your comments, but I'm going to go back over to anyone who just joined. Shanae brought some copies, and she's like, I'm giving them out. So,
Oh, wow.
what has happened on your journey with this book so far?
Yeah, so a lot has happened, to my surprise, when I wrote this book, Miss Bryan, I really wanted to just write it for my circle of people. At least that's what I originally had in my mind. When I go to schools, I'm going to give it to the young men there. When I go to the prison system, I'm going to give it to the men there and just have them use it as a guideline for their life. I didn't know so many people was going to purchase it. I think I'm up to about 1,000 copies now. And to me, that's a million copies because I mean it really has blown me away. I got a email from the director of the Nebraska Department of Corrections. He said, Baron, we have purchased 90 copies for the men throughout the prison system there, and they are using it for the Nebraska Department of Corrections. The whole department is using it to help the men there make a transition back to their society and back to their families. This Sunday, I'm going to be speaking at Evangel Ministries, which is a local church here in Detroit. The pastor there purchased 100 copies for the
Woo!
men there for their church. So I'm just really blown away. It's really blessing a lot of men.
That is, first of all, the fact that the community is embracing it. Second of all, we need this right now. I
Yeah,
God's timing is everything. I don't
yeah.
think you would have anticipated what's happening right now in your book being released. What kind of feedback have you received from those who have purchased the book? But then also, you started posting some videos that I think some ruffled some feathers, right? And that's going to happen. It's all right.
Sure,
Tell us
sure.
how the book has been connected to Black Lives Matter and what's happening in your own heart and what you're sharing in video.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, if I can just share a little bit about my brief experience that I had over the weekend. I was in Austin, Texas. I went to go see my older brother, but I ended up traveling down to Houston, Texas, which is about a 2-hour commute. And I wanted to go see the George Floyd Memorial that you have up there. It was a very emotional experience. And I tell you, Miss Bryan, to make a long story short, I got a chance to meet a lot of young men there who were angry. George Floyd was from their neighborhood, even though he died up there in Minneapolis. He was from Houston, Texas, born and raised, and he was only in Minneapolis a short while. So a lot of his friends, family members, I was literally in front of where George Floyd grew up at. And a lot of his friends and family were very upset and very angry. And especially the young men, they were a little confused on what to do next, a little scared, if you will, on how to operate in America with all that's going on. So I took advantage of that opportunity to pour into them, Miss Bryan, and let them know my suggestion, my respectful suggestion. And it was if you stay in God's presence, if you seek God every single day, He's going to guide you on your daily walk. He's going to show you how to be a strong man of integrity, even with what's going on right now. So, my book is a small piece to a bigger solution, and that's staying in God's presence. So, I was able to meet some of the young men there in Houston, Texas, in front of that memorial. I was able to give them a copy of my book so they can use it as a guideline moving forward. And I was also able to just love on them and pray with them so we can get through this situation together. Yeah.
So, Baron, look, when you were thinking, I'm going to write a book, or maybe you didn't have the thought, I'm going to write a book. What was the thought process that took place before you actually wrote the 5 Steps to Manhood?
Wow, I had so many thoughts, Miss Bryan. I was nervous, scared, just a lot of different things. But the more I traveled and spoke, the more I began to understand that males making a transition to manhood, they need more than just a warm and fuzzy moment that I might give when I speak, and get them riled up and get them motivated, which is very valuable. But they needed some tangible, actionable steps in their hand that they can use as a guideline every day. So I actually prayed about it, Miss Bryan, years ago, and I asked the Lord to give me something that I can give to the man. And when you know it, and it don't take the Lord long sometimes, Ms. Brian.
Never.
He gave me an answer right away, which was those 5 steps. Something very simple, something easy for men to do, and something they can remember and place on their heart. So once I had it, I created that short little book, and it's just been a blessing. It really has.
And you actually started out the broadcast talking about how you were in schools, and you also have really, and we haven't really touched on it just yet this morning, been working in the prison system. So for some of our folks who are just getting to know you, tell us a little bit about the time that you spent working in the system.
Yeah, so my backstory, I was in the Navy for 8 years, and once I got out the Navy, I actually went right into law enforcement, being a correctional officer with the Michigan Department of Corrections. And I did that for about 2 years, and then I transitioned from officer to a prison counselor. And that's when my transition really started changing, Ms. Brian, because as a counselor, I was able to do more group trainings. I was able to speak more at some of their functions. And that's when I harnessed my ability to train men for greatness. So, and I think that's when the fire really lit for me in regards to helping them, leave the prison system to never to return. Just to give some fun facts to the viewers out there, recidivism is a very ugly word that I hate to use, and that's pretty much men leaving the prison system and coming back to the prison system. It's like a revolving door. So last time I checked, in Michigan, when 10 men leave the prison system, 7 of them come back. So that's the recidivism rate. And that's a horrible number, Ms. Brian. Every time I think about it, I get upset. So I wanted to do something about that. I wanted to give them some steps, some training, some tools so they can never, ever enter the prison walls again, leave once and for all as men of integrity. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, and we have some comments here on our Facebook. I'm watching my Facebook Live. Hey, you guys, you have to go to StreamYard.com/Facebook. There's some good comments. I tell you, I even put the instructions in the post. So go to StreamYard.com/Facebook and come right back to the live, because there's a comment here from TJ Chapman that I really love. We know that the work that you've done in your counseling role, and even sharing the book and the steps with some of the inmates, it's impacted their lives. I know it has. And you talk about integrity. And so TJ says, just like I tell my players, your best work is when no one is watching. Because it will show on the field. And he totally related it to coaching football. He said it will show on the field. So in terms of integrity, people will be able to see the integrity that you display. Absolutely. So I want to let everyone know that you can actually get the book on Amazon.com. I forgot that all the endorsements are right here on your website. I love the fact that celebrities have gotten behind it. And so what would you say to some moms and even some dads right now who are struggling with their teens, or even maybe they were the 20-somethings or the younger children that they have? What are some things that they can implement? Besides reading the book, of course, what are some things they can implement?
Yeah, well, I always like to take advantage, Ms. Brian, of talking to the mothers out there. I get a lot of phone calls, a lot of emails, a lot of requests, just on how they should be raising their young men to greatness. And I have one simple answer. For all the mothers out there who are raising your young kings, hear my heart when I say this. The best thing you can do for your son, even right now, even what's going on right now in America, the best thing you can do to raise your male to grow to be a strong man of integrity is to hold him accountable. That's the best thing you can do. So somebody might ask, Mr. Warren, what do you mean by that? You don't want your son to be at home living a life that's too comfortable. You want to have a respectful accountability towards him every single day. You kind of want to have his feet to the fire every single day, because one day you want to hear him say these magical words, which is, I can't wait to get my own place. I can't wait to get my own car. Can't wait to provide for myself. You want your son to say that one day. So in order for him to say that, it can't be too comfortable in the home. You got to always be holding him accountable, asking him to do things, making it slightly uncomfortable. So one day he can come take his mom out to dinner. One day he's going to drive a nice car and have a good job and come pick you up. But if your home is the Ritz Carlton, he's never going to leave.
Okay.
So I always respectfully, I'm using my words very carefully, hold your son accountable, and I guarantee you will thank me for it later. So that's just a small message to the moms out there.
So some practical steps to holding them accountable. Are you referring to doing their own laundry, cooking their own food? A curfew will get a teen, maybe 18, 19 to really leave. Are those the practical pieces that you're talking about?
Oh, you saying it, and if I can throw out a few more, when moms come home and they see their son laying around, ask them to do little things. Find little assignments for them to do. Hey, I need you to go cut that grass. Hey, I need you to go wash the clothes. Hey, I need you to wash the dishes. Again, I'm not suggesting any mother pick or bully their son like that. What I'm saying is, your son was designed to be a leader. He was designed to be independent and strong and self-led, if you will. So growing up, parents have to help them along with that. So we just have to keep their feet to the fire. And I'm telling you, you're going to make them responsible. You're going to make them appreciate things, and they're going to have a sense of independence about themselves, so they can come back and take you out to breakfast one day. So that's the goal. We want our sons to leave the house and come back and take mom out to breakfast. That's the goal.
That's the goal. We want them to be independent, strong caregivers, people who can.
Absolutely.
That's really awesome. So I'm going to have you find another excerpt from your book, and I'm going to give everyone a few tips. So if you would like to get the book, The 5 Steps to Manhood, for any man in your life, teens, several ladies on here said it's great for the foster care system. I think Nancy even said, Nancy is my fellow sister queen in the Miss Corporate America organization. She says, we're launching inmates to entrepreneurs. Wow. That's awesome.
That is. That really is.
And she said to help those who've left prison to become their own boss. That statistic you gave, Warren, about 10 men, 7 come back. Aaron, that's insane. That is really insane.
Yeah, and that's, Ms. Bryant, that's my life. I do my very best, anytime I want to interview. I don't really want to bore people with long prison stories, but I'm telling you, I'm living it every day, and I see it face value. So, and when we say 10 men, Ms. Bryant, we're talking about 10 fathers, 10 brothers, 10 sons. They not just a number, or not just an inmate that's, that doesn't have family, that's looking for them and need them in the community. 10 men can do a lot, Ms. Bryant. I've witnessed it. So, yeah. So, so when we got 10 brothers locked up and using the prison system as a revolving door, in and out, that's just very hurtful. And a lot of it has to do with they don't know how to live a life of integrity. They haven't really been given the proper tools in the prison system to make that transition from malehood to manhood. So it's my goal, Ms. Bryant, to travel to every single prison in the country if I can, but more importantly, train other males to be better men so they can go help another man. So, it's a lot of work to be done, but we need our men back in the home, back in the community, back to leading their families to greatness. We need them.
And so these, I like going through your website and just looking at some of the videos and the photos, and it looks like this is a graduation, and you're also speaking to a class of inmates. And that graduation, was that, tell us a little bit about that graduation photo.
Sure. So this is one of my times, Ms. Brian, where I'm running inside of a prison. You hear most people trying to leave the prison, right? Running out. Sometimes I want to run in because for moments like this was a graduation ceremony inside of one of the prisons here in Michigan. And sometimes they give these ceremonies when the men complete their GED or they complete a trade in the prison. Some prisons have trade like carpentry and drywall and things like that. So they called me to be their guest speaker, and I ran to the opportunity. I was so proud of them, Miss Bryan. A lot of those men were on their way home, and they had something in their hand that's going to make them marketable to go out and get a job, that GED or that trade. A lot of these men, Miss Bryan, they haven't went to college or not interested in college. So top priority is getting them some marketable skills so they can go out and lead their family. So getting a GED and getting a trade, I don't take that lightly. That's a big deal to me, especially incarcerated men, because I know that's going to give them some hope, and that's going to give them some motivation to say, hey, I can do this. And just maybe I can go back to college, and just maybe with this trade, I can start a business. And maybe I don't have to rob and steal anymore, or I don't have to be depressed and be on drugs. So all those things are taken into consideration. So yeah, I was. It felt like I was graduating that day when I spoke there. I was very happy.
That's amazing. Absolutely amazing. If you guys have any questions for Baron this morning as we're wrapping, please post them in the comments. If we don't get them to them this morning, he can certainly go back and connect with you in the comment section. I've asked Baron to pull out another excerpt from the book. But again, it's baronwarren.com. And do you have something you want to read as we close out the broadcast?
Absolutely, and I'm gonna be very quick, Ms. Bryan. I wanted to let the viewers know. I always like to let everyone know those 5 steps that I believe that help males make a transition to manhood. And the 5 steps are: number 1, choosing to be a man. Number 2 is discovering your calling for your life. Number 3 is being a lifelong learner. Number 4 is delighting yourself in responsibility. And number 5 is helping another male become a man. So as we close, Ms. Bryan, I wanted to read a little piece from my favorite step, which is number 4, which is delighting yourself in responsibility. That's probably my favorite step. And I'll read this short paragraph here. And I'll put down, men, I'm sure at some point in your life, you have been told to be responsible. It may have started with your parents or guardian, at school, from your employer, or maybe your spouse or another family member. The point is, we have all heard this statement before, but I intentionally changed up this idea and added a word, delighted, to the quote. And here's why. It's one thing to do something and moan and complain while doing it. It's a totally different experience when you take joy in the task of the day, no matter how challenging it may be. The circumstances change when you focus on the importance of why you are doing the task. So in short, whatever's going on in your life, whatever bills you have to pay, job you have to report to, children that you have given life to, you now have to provide for, the community you have to impact. Don't just be responsible, but be delighted to be responsible. So that is just that's so important, Ms. Bryan. I don't want men to think that everything they have to do, their responsibilities. I don't want them to do it with an attitude. I want them to be happy when taking care of their business. I want them to be happy when it's time for them to go see their children. I want them to be happy when it's time for them to go to work. So for all the men out there that's watching, don't just be responsible. Be delighted to be responsible. That's a different scenario.
Ooh, that's a powerful word. Powerful. Thank you for sharing that. Because I don't know if you often read read something from the book on your other interviews that you've been on, but we're certainly.
That was the first. Thank you, Ms. Bryan.
Good. We can talk about books all day on the show, but it's like you got to hear it from the author. And while we have access to Baron, he's so gracious. I mean, when you're, on the Today Show and CNN, I can't get in touch with you anymore.
I'm going to always come back to the Candy Bryan Morning Show. Always.
Thank you, Baron. I'll tell people, go back and watch the replay. We had him. So we have a question here. A question from Nancy. Nancy is in, North Carolina. Nancy, don't kill me. In North Carolina, right, Nancy? What is the story behind Cuts and Coaching?
Oh, wow. Thank you for that question, Miss Nancy. So, the short version is I was a barber when I was in the Navy, Miss Nancy. I was tasked with making all the sailors look good. And I wasn't all that thrilled about it. I never wanted to be a barber. But the military has a way of telling you to do something versus asking you. But that's the best thing that happened to me, Miss Nancy. When I became a barber, I learned that I wasn't just grooming men bodies. I wasn't just grooming them for the body. I was grooming them for the mind and for the spirit. And I learned that men just don't want to look good on the outside. They want to feel good on the inside. So when I got out the Navy, I asked God, I said, God, I want to combine that experience, grooming for the body and the mind. And he gave me the idea of cuts in coaching, hair cutting, because it's very important that men leave the house well groomed, but it's also very important that their spirit is together. So how the business works, typically I go to a school or prison or wherever I'm hired at, and I'll hire a team of barbers. Those barbers will clean them up on the outside, and I'll clean them up on the inside.
Yes.
So cuts and coaching.
I love it. I love it. Good question, Nancy. Thank you for that. Again, if you guys have any questions, and of course, how could I miss this, Nancy? She is a cosmetologist. She has her own salon.
Oh my goodness. I got a feeling we can partner up.
Yeah, I think so too. She saw the sheer. She's obviously attention to detail, because I had this on the screen before, but she caught that. Thank you, Nancy, and we appreciate you and tuning in. But certainly, Baron, you can reach out to Nancy, or Nancy, you can just reach out to Baron through his Facebook, and that would be amazing. So, final words. It is Father's Day weekend coming up here, and I thought this was great because the book would be great to get for any man in your life, or any of you that are watching. But what encouragement do you have this morning? So we are a place of faith in the morning. We want to always leave with an encouraging word. And there's a lot of people struggling right now. There's our Black men, our brown men who don't want to necessarily be out in the streets right now. I mean, there's just so much happening. You shouldn't be afraid to drive down the street in your car, be out in your own yard.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, Miss Bryan, my heart goes out to everything that's going on in the country. My heart goes out to all the men that we've lost, with these horrific events. But I'm still firm on how I believe every single man of all races should be operating. And you may have heard me say this before, Miss Bryan, and that's operating in I like to call them the 3 Ps. That's the pastor of your home, the protector of your home, and the provider of your home. It's very important, especially what's going on in America today. Every single man must be the pastor of his home, not necessarily the pastor of the church, but you got to be the pastor of your home. So what do I mean by that? Every single man has to stay in God's presence. That's the only way you are going to be able to lead your family in a godly way, because I believe, if you're leading them in a godly way, that's going to order your family steps. That's going to give you the right tools on how to leave the house every single day. So I'm just a firm believer in that, Ms. Bryan. Every single man has to lead his family in a godly way. So that's the pastor part. The protector part, every single man may need to protect their family physically, but we need to protect our family's heart. We need to make sure we're being honest every single day. We need to make sure we're being truthful and not lying and not womanizing and manipulating. We have to protect our family and be there. When your children ask you for something, you got to be there. So you got to protect their heart. And last but not least, providing. This isn't rocket science. Every single man got to get up and go to work. I don't know no other way to say it. I don't know how to sugarcoat it. Every single man, you got to get up. You got to find out what your assignment is, and you got to go to work and take care of your family. So, again, all the men out there that are listening, go out and be the pastor, protector, and the provider of your home. And I'm confident your family is going to be safe, and you are going to be able to lead your family to greatness. I'm confident you will.
Such a powerful word. Thank you for ending us on that note. I do have one question for you, and I'm sorry if I'm missing any questions. I'm not on the comment screen right now, but I would like to end with a question. So, what about those men, young men, older men, husbands, fathers even, who feel like, well, I messed up. I screwed up. I already lied. I already cheated. I already wasn't there for my sons or wasn't there for my family. I've already messed up. So what's left for me to do? What would you say to that person?
Well, not without being too dramatic, I hear that a lot, Ms. Bryan, in the prison system. I mean, they're living it at the highest level. Hey, I messed up. They get a daily reminder every single day. They're reminded of the poor decisions that they made. But I have a message for them and not anyone that's just in prison. Maybe you just made a poor mistake in your journey. I'll leave you with these words. You may have made a mistake, but you're not a mistake.
Come on,
you may have made a mistake, but you're not a mistake. The good news, Ms. Bryan, about making that transition from malehood to manhood, it doesn't matter what you did yesterday. It doesn't matter if you wasn't there for your children. It doesn't matter if you mistreated someone. That is all in the past. Today, right now, as we speak, to all your viewers, you can look in the mirror and say, hey, no more. I'm going to put away childish things. I'm going to be there for my family. I'm going to be a pillar to my society. I'm going to go out and be honest. I'm going to go out and protest with integrity. I'm going to go out there and always do the right thing. So, again, for anyone who feel like they have made a horrible mistake, just remember, you may have made a mistake, but you're not a mistake. If you still walking this earth, God still has a plan for you. And that plan is for you to lead your family and lead your community to greatness.
Absolutely. That question bubbled up right on the end there as you were talking. I was like, I got to ask this because someone is looking for redemption, and He is the God that redeems from any situation. You do have a question from Facebook that we didn't get here on the broadcast. Are there plans for a second book? If so, what will it be about? Oh, TJ, great question, TJ. Do you have a plan for a second book?
I do actually. In the book, I wrote a special chapter for all mothers raising their boys, and I titled that chapter "A Mother's Love." I've been getting such great feedback on more tools to help single mothers, Ms. Bryan. There's a lot of mothers out there who just need some respectful guidance on what can they do to help their boys grow to be great men. So the Lord has put it on my heart to write a book simply for mothers raising their boys. So that would be more than likely my second book, A Mother's Love. Yeah.
So good. I don't want to go. We don't want to go. Aaron, we're so thankful for you. I'm going to put up your website here. And again, if you all could go out to Amazon, get the book. Father's Day is coming. I think that this is a great time. And, I would love to connect you with TJ Chapman. He is a assistant football coach here in Florida. He's planning a peaceful march. I want to talk about TJ's march. He's planning a peaceful march here in Sanford, Florida on Friday for June.
Okay.
Yep. And so TJ, thank you for doing that and believing in and supporting your community. He was on the Tuesday show, the Town Hall Tuesday show. So check out TJ Chapman's page as well for the information on the peaceful Juneteenth march here in Central Florida, here in Sanford. And as always, my guest today, Baron Warren, I'm so grateful for you. And so we can't wait to, maybe it is something where we're going to have you back again and again.
Y'all stuck with me. Yeah, I'm family.
This was so good. I would love for all of you to go hit the share button. One thing you can do right now is hit the share button, have someone come back and watch the replay or tag someone's name. And we'll be here again tomorrow morning. It's here 7:30. Baron, thank you. Blessings on all that you're doing. Thank you all for tuning into the Good Morning Show with Candy Bryan. And I hope that you have a great day. This is your place of faith in the morning, and we'll see you tomorrow, 7:30 a.m. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.